Let's talk morning routines as a mom. These days, the time that we get to ourselves is a little bit different. Over the last year, I realized what a big difference it makes to get up before my son, before the rest of the house wakes. And even before becoming a mom, I loved getting up early. It always gave me the feeling that I was ahead of the day instead of rushing to catch up with it. But as moms, we don't have hours to ourselves anymore. So I learned to prioritize a few simple things. These are the things that help me feel grounded, ready for the day, and I wanted to share them with you. The boring parts of the day. This is when we have our breakfast, and instead I'm going to try and show you how I've tried to build time for myself through the busy demands of motherhood. The first simple but important thing that I do is making sure that I'm dressed before my son wakes up. That feels like a big win for me. And then it's kind of the biggest part and most important part of my routine, which is my Bible study and my journaling. So it's not your traditional journaling at all. Instead of writing pages and pages and writing everything that I felt or gone through in the day, I actually just answer the same few questions every morning. And I'll share them with you in case they also help set you up for your day too. But before we dive a little bit deeper into that, let's go ahead and make the bed. Really simple task, but starting your day with an organized and tidy space makes all the difference. And in the summer, we have more of a routine as a family as opposed to just the few things that I do in the morning, because we're trying to make the most of these early days. Cool and great way if you're also one of those kind of early bird people, but motherhood kind of slows that down, which is fine. It's an okay thing. But getting the whole family out first thing in the morning, especially now that the days are lighter and it's actually possible, that has been a really good way to still incorporate that feeling of okay, I'm up early, let's go make the most of the day. So this has replaced my personal outdoor time, which I used to do every morning before I became a mom. Because we live down here in the countryside, and before we actually lived in a cottage in the middle of nowhere, so literally I could just wake up and just be in nature. So even in the winter, even in the summer, in the winter I'd be outside doing yoga by the fire in the front yard or the backyard, and in the summer I would be on my bike, sometimes by 5 a.m. and riding out to the beach, which was 15 miles away. So that's a huge part of who I am, is just being outside, and I've always been like that ever since I was a kid. And obviously that kind of thing is just not possible in motherhood. So yeah, with a toddler, that's really impossible because I'm needed through the night and then I'm needed in the morning as soon as he wakes up. So it's not really the kind of thing that happens now, but the family time version is the way that I get to incorporate that as a mom. So it works really well, and that's why I recommend, if you are the kind of person where you also really love being outside first thing in the morning, because that's what I used to do, but you find that you're struggling to do that as a mom, then I've realized doing it all together as a family works really well. So it still gets you out and you still get that fresh morning air, rain or shine, but yeah, it's actually manageable because you're not trying to leave on your own. This is something that's not possible in every season of motherhood, but when it is possible, I always try and prioritize it because, again, personally for me, being outside first thing in the morning is a really big part of just what helps me feel good for the day. The bright days, the cool air, the empty roads, I'm always just so excited to get outside as early as possible. feel more like staying in, we still go outside to potter around in the garden. There's always things to tidy, and there's definitely a lot of plants to water. So let me tell you a little bit about my journaling, which is what really sets me up for the day. Instead of journaling everything that I'm feeling, I just answer the same few questions each morning. How do I want to respond today? What kind of presents do I want to bring into my home? And what do I want to remember from this season of life? It seems like such a small practice, but it has completely changed the way that I move through hard moments. Because especially that first question, how do I want to respond today? I always try and picture myself during a difficult moment, like my toddler needs regulation, again, of course, but I'm struggling. Having done that little bit of journaling in the morning where I've kind of walked myself through that hard time, okay, how do I want to respond when it feels hard? I feel like doing that when the time actually comes around later that day where I might struggle, it seems a lot easier because it's almost like you've practiced. It's almost like a little morning rehearsal. Because what you repeat kind of starts to become your patterns that you basically keep repeating. So you can kind of really lean on that. And when those hard moments come around, you just lean on what you almost visualized yourself doing earlier that morning. So my routine as a mom is all about really trying to do what I can with the time that I have, which as moms, we know that time is unpredictable. No matter how early we get up, our kids might still need us way before we might have planned or expected it. So for me, making sure I answer those 4 questions first thing, even if I only end up getting 10 minutes instead of an hour, it's something that I prioritize every morning. After that, it's all about little wins and seeing what I can do as the morning unfolds, whether that's continuing to involve him in a calm activity, or we go on a nice walk together, or I make myself a tea and we sit down on the floor together. But it's trying to continue that slow and simple morning ritual. But now our days look a little different, but I think they're a lot fuller, and I love the noise and the happiness and the joy. Sometimes it can feel overstimulating. That's why I still need my morning rituals. But there's truly nothing better than this. So thank you so much for being here, and I hope you also find those 4 questions useful. As always, try and live simply and slowly. Lots of love, and see you in the next video. Bye!